Mankind has been inhabiting planet Earth for the last 200,000 years. Do you think we've been swaddling our babies all this while? No, right? There's a reason the baby was in the womb only for 9 months and not more than that. Hey guys, welcome to the first ever Prodigy Show by Raising Superstars. So this is the first episode of our new show. We are very excited to start and launch the show. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let me give you a brief background about Raising Superstars and what we do at our company. So at Raising Superstars, what we believe is that every baby is born a genius. And when we talk about genius abilities with our babies, we are talking not just about being good at a certain field. What we are actually saying is that we fundamentally believe that every baby who is born in this world has more potential than any other person who has ever lived on planet Earth, right? And it can be from any field. So it can be from the sciences, from athleticism, music, creativity, any field, right? And that's what we believe. And we at Raising Superstars, what we do is we provide you a step-by-step system on how you can discover your baby's hidden potential and ignite them. So that's what the show is all about. We will talk a lot about growth and development in babies, how babies learn, how babies grow, how babies think, how they evolve, what are the things you should be doing as a parent for your baby so that they can not only develop abilities but lead a life full of happiness, love, joy, and hopefully grow up to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. So with that, let's get into the first segment of our show where I will be answering some very fundamental questions about our babies, about raising superstars, about what it means to be a prodigy. So let's get started. So let's talk about hidden potential. What do we mean by hidden potential? Now, imagine that there's an artist, the most wonderful master artist that there can be, right? And he has all the amazing tools that he needs, all the fantastic brushes, colors, paints, the most beautiful canvas. And he's given the task of creating a masterpiece, right? What is he going to do? He's going to paint something that he's familiar with. So suppose he's always been in a very dry, arid sort of an environment in a village. He's never seen the outside world. So no matter how great the artist is, if he's going to paint a landscape, that's the landscape that will appeal to him, come to his mind, and that's what he will paint, right? Now, what if we give this artist a bunch of photographs of the most beautiful mountains, lakes, rivers, beaches from the entire world? We give him all of these large photographs and then we ask him to paint his masterpiece. Now he has some ideas, right? So his mind is stimulated and he's able to go beyond the realm of his own environment, right? And that's what we mean by hidden potential. Our brains are like this master artist. So when a baby is born, our brains, what it starts to do is that it starts to pick and choose which abilities it should retain in our minds and which abilities it should get rid of, right? And when you are in a certain environment without any extra stimulation, the brain gets sort of restricted to think in that sort of realm, in that constraint. With little bit of stimulation, with just 5 minutes of effort, as we say in our Prodigy Framework and at Raising Superstars, with just 5 minutes of effort, what we do is we introduce these sort of other elements that stimulates our brains, our baby's brain, for them to go beyond just what they were born with in the environment, in the genes that they have, go beyond that and stimulate those aspects which are hidden inside, which are unconscious. And that's what we mean by awakening your baby's hidden potential and their unconscious genius. So the next question that we are going to answer is what we really mean when we say prodigy baby. And do we really want our babies to be a prodigy. So let's think about it. So Einstein once said that if you judge a fish by its ability to fly, you would leave the fish feeling stupid all its life, right? Isn't it? Now, every baby is born with a lot of confidence, a huge, tremendous learning capacity, and unlimited abilities. And we have repeated it again and again, right? Every baby has potential which is more than any other person who has ever lived on planet Earth. They can be a great sports person, they can be a great musician, a great actor, they could really be an amazing scientist, they could be an artist, anything that they really want, right? And better than any other person who has lived in the entire history of planet Earth. However, what happens is that it's as a society, as parents, when we start forcing our babies to do things in a certain manner, to do things what we want our babies to do, it sort of shatters their confidence. It makes them believe that they don't have the ability to do things that they actually can. And that is the first step that we want to avoid. So what we want to do is we want our babies to have the freedom to explore a lot of different things and genuinely understand what is their interest, what they like to do, what is it that they are innately good at. Innately meaning they're naturally born talent in that particular field. And that is what we really want to do when we say we want our babies to be a prodigy. So let me give you an example. Every baby is born with the ability to be mobile from day one, right? So they have the ability to crawl on day one. And there are literally videos on YouTube that you can search where it shows that babies are able to crawl up to a mother's belly to be able to get milk, right? Babies have that ability, but in today's world, most babies start crawling at not before 7 to 8 months. And why is that? The reason is that in today's world, what we have started doing is we have started putting babies in cots, we have started straddling them, all sorts of things which make our lives as parents more convenient, but it constrains the baby, right? And when we constrain the baby loses the confidence that it has the power to be able to move, right? And very soon when they have lost this power, when they have lost the confidence that they don't do it until they are older and maybe around 7 to 8 months of age. However, if we allow them that freedom, if we let our babies be just as nature intended them to be, babies will be able to show you that they have the ability, they have the confidence, and that they can be mobile. And it applies to every other field. So whether it's languages, whether it's the ability to be creative, whether it's the ability to do math, whether it's the ability to talk, all sorts of things. Babies have an enormous amount of ability and confidence, and we as parents, it's our duty to be able to ignite their potential by making them discover what their true potential is. So I hope this makes sense. What we say at Raising Superstars is that we don't want to force our babies to learn the 20 things that we are very passionate about as parents. What we say is that we give them hundreds of opportunities, and it's better that our babies learn 70 out of those 100 rather than 20 out of all 20 that we want them to learn. And when they start learning all of these things, all of the different kinds of things that are available, that are possible, that's when our babies discover their own true potential, their own hidden talent, and then they start generating interest, they start generating expertise in that particular field, and that's how the prodigy is awakened, and that's how our babies are going to be whoever they want to be and not subscribe to what we want them to be. So let's talk about the first 2 years of our baby's lives. Why are the first 2 years so important? So man is the most dominant species on this planet, right? We have been around as the human race. We've been around for nearly 200,000 years. And we have grown to become the most dominant, the smartest the fittest sort of species on this earth, right? But if you think about the human baby is born underdeveloped, right? So when they are born, they are helpless, they're vulnerable, they can't see properly, their eyes have not developed, their ears have not developed, so they can't hear very well. They cannot really do much. They can't communicate, they can't speak, they are not so mobile. They are basically underdeveloped. So if they were in their mother's womb for longer, they would possibly develop more and would be more independent when they come out into the world. So what is the reason that the human baby is underdeveloped, and what are the implications of it? The reason is simply that if the baby was in the mother's womb for longer, then it would become too big and the mother's back, the spinal cord would start bending, right? And if it started to bend, then we would not be able to walk on two limbs. So human race is the only species on this planet Earth that can have the straight back and can walk on just two legs, right? And for this to be possible, the baby needs to come out of the mother's womb little bit underdeveloped. When the baby is born helpless, what happens is that they must have a super fast learning capacity. They must have the ability to learn and grow and develop very fast for the human race, for all of us as a species to be able to survive, right? Because if they were weak and if they continued to be weak for a very long time, then there would be a lot of dangers and risk that they would get exposed to, and the human race, human species itself would not survive. So the baby being born helpless and vulnerable forces them to be able to learn very fast for the race to survive. And that is why we say that the first 2 years of a baby's life is very, very important, because that is the age where they have this almost extraordinary, miraculous ability to learn, to grasp things, to develop and to grow very, very fast. And whatever they learn in these 2 months or 2 years, they hold with them for life. They develop their abilities, they enhance and awaken all of their hidden potential in these 2 years, and it stays with them for a lifetime. Of course, we go into much more details about this concept, the science, the theory, the evolution, all of the aspects of it in our Prodigy Framework course. So if you want to check out more information on this, you can click on the link below. We'll post the link, and you can of course sign up for that program where we'll go into much more depth about how babies learn and grow and develop. Hey guys, so today we have on our show Dr. Trupti, who is very graciously decided to give us some of her time. She is a mother of a 16-month-old daughter, and she grew up as a single child in a conservative household where her parents allowed her the freedom to become a doctor, pursue her dreams, and of course she would like her daughter to also have that freedom. Let's hear it from Dr. Trupti on what she thinks about raising her own child. So welcome Dr. Trupti, thanks so much for joining and giving us your time. Thank you for joining us on that. Thanks so much. So I know we were talking earlier, Dr. Trupti, and you were saying things like how it is important to hold on to your roots and culture, but also move ahead with the times. Do you want to share a little bit about that with our viewers?
Basically in India, we have a close-knit family, not like in the Western countries where parents are all together by themselves, where they have to raise the kid. We have the support of our family. We have our elders to guide us. Our culture is such that we have so many different, values inculcated in the way of, say, maybe prayers or pujas, or even in Sanskrit shlokas, we have so many things imbibed, core values. So we can hold on to our roots and use it in a way where we can push the child to its limits, but not so that it breaks the child.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as we always say, right, like we want our babies, our children to be whoever they wish to be, but we also want to provide them that guiding light without any pressure or stress, right? Yeah. So what are the things that you have been doing with your baby, and what is it that she really enjoys?
Okay. From the time she was 2 months old, I'm not boasting about myself here per se, but
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
from the
Yeah, we would
time
love to
I,
know.
I have always enjoyed reading. That was my passion
Okay.
from the beginning. So I always used to read ebooks or anything what I used to get. That I got it from my grandpa, because whenever I used to go to his house, he had a whole bunch of variety of books. To be frank, I always found his knowledge and his what I can say passion to read inculcated in me. And after
Okay.
that I picked it up, and now when my baby was actually 2 months old, from then I started collecting books, and from then I started making her read. So now when she's 16 months old, I can proudly say that she goes to the room, brings some books, and she's like, we'll read this, we'll read that, and she does not tear the books also. That I'm
Yeah.
proud of. So I can say that some values I have been able to inculcate in her. She is fond of the booster cards which you have provided in your program, so she loves it. She wants to see more and more of it all the time. We
Yeah.
enjoy our time together. As I'm a doctor, I am actually busy, and I'll not be able to give much time to her. So the time I spend with her, I wanted to be qualitative rather than quantitative. So I make the most of it whenever I am with her, so that even I provide her with things where she can grow as an individual, and her brain goes to its maximum capacity, but she also enjoys the things.
Right, right. So what I hear you say is that because you were doing the reading sort of sessions from when she was very little, she's just grown into it. She's loving it, enjoying it, and also has a sort of an interest towards reading very naturally, right? So it's not about, oh, I have to do it because my mother wants me to do it, but I'm going to
It's
the room
not
getting
like
the book.
I bring the book and
It's
she wants to
Yeah.
see. It's like she herself goes to the room, brings some books out, and she's like, we'll read this today, we'll read that today. So I'm like very happy about that.
That's amazing. So she actually enjoys, even though it's sort of like a nerdy academic activity, but she is enjoying it and she's developing her abilities as well, right? And Dr. Trupti, you have also done our Raising Superstars program, which you briefly mentioned, and that's I guess what we have also tried to do, right? Like inculcate those right values in a very fun manner from a very young age. And you were saying something about not being able to give enough time because you are of course a doctor and you're busy. So how does that work? Like how are you able to maximize the time qualitatively speaking with your baby when you're doing anything with her?
Raghav, if anyone had heard you before, they know that you have asked only 5 minutes of their time. So it has been a boon actually that I went to your program and I got to know many things. Even though I'm a doctor, there are some limitations where, I couldn't do so much of research. Like you have read like 60 plus hours of, I think 60 plus books, right? And
Right.
so many hours of research you have done to your kid. Even though we want to do it, we will not be having the time to do so much of research and go through so much of literature to engage our kids and put it in the right way for their age and how to do it. So it has been a great help from your side that I have been able to make her move a lot. She is just started walking now. She is enjoyed the booster cards, but they have enjoyed your program. As I have talked to other people also, your program has been like really enjoyable. To be frank, the
Yeah.
qualitative time which we spend with the kid, that has been really a boon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for those kind words. As we've been parents ourselves, right? And we know how parenting is a really really tough journey. You don't get the time, right? Because you're always running around your baby and their diaper needs, their sleep needs, vaccinations, this, that. So our goal was to make it so simple that it's just like literally 5 minutes in a day, and any time during the day you can do those activities. And in some sense, do you feel that it also becomes part of your daily life, like whatever you are doing? Are we has the program changed your mindset in any way in terms of how you interact with your baby, or that is not something that you've seen?
Yes, yes. The program actually has changed the mindset of the whole family, to be frank, because
Right.
especially I can say about the flashcards and booster cards method, because what we as parents think is we have to make the child memorize things. We have to make
Yeah.
the child learn what is there in front of them. But as we know that that is not the case, we want them to learn how to learn. That
Right,
is the
exactly.
most important thing. So we are giving her the freedom and making her learn in an enjoyable, fun manner, and introducing her things which I could not do in my childhood, sadly.
No, you. I think you are inspiration to a lot of other parents. Being a doctor, being a mother itself is an inspiration, and handling all of yeah, and being a doctor on top of that is just yeah. I'm sure you are a role model to a lot of parents in your community as well. So, thanks for joining us, and thank you for taking time out. Are there any last words that you would like to share with us before we let you go?
um like I was telling Raghav, parenting is really hard. It's like we are torn between giving them the freedom and keeping them in a cocoon, safe in this
Yeah.
world. But we actually have to give them the freedom that they can become the human, that the beautiful human being that they can blossom into. They can be kind, compassionate, they can take the burden of other people, be dependable. So in that sense, your program has really helped to inculcate your moral values also. And going forward, I would look up to her becoming a really great human being, all
Yes.
in all.
Yes, absolutely. That our program, as you already know, the Prodigy Framework, the moral code encapsulates everything else, right? So what we say is that none of it makes sense if we don't have integrity, character, personality, all those kind of things. So yeah. So thanks for joining. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and I hope to chat again with you soon. See you in our communities as well, and wish you lots of luck, success, all the best for your baby. Lots of love to her as well.
Thank you, Raghav. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much. So that was Dr. Trupti joining us. Thanks so much for your time and sharing your valuable thoughts. We wish you all the best. And now let's move on to the next segment. 6 things that your baby wants you to know. Are you guys ready? So, number one, do not swaddle your baby. Do not wrap them up. Do not put them in a cloth. Do not swaddle them. Just think about it. Mankind has been inhabiting planet Earth for the last 200,000 years. Do you think we've been swaddling our babies all this while? No, right? There's a reason the baby was in the womb only for 9 months and not more than that. Okay? There's a reason that the baby comes out and it wants its freedom, it wants its independence. Swaddling is a concept that was invented to make the lives of parents easier. We swaddle our babies so that they don't cry, they keep warm, and they just don't move and they don't bother us at all, right? But that's not what babies want. What babies want is the freedom and independence to move their limbs, to be able to yell, to be able to cry, to be able to express, to be able to experience their vocal cords, and to be able to ultimately start their mobilities, which is crawling, walking, standing, all of those things. If you swaddle your baby, you are restricting them, constraining them. While all of the marketing gurus might tell you
that this is the best way to keep your baby warm and to give them the feeling of the womb, but that is not how nature intended babies to be. So what we want you to do instead is to keep them free, keep them unconstrained, unrestricted in their natural environment as much as possible on their tummies, so that they can start exploring their abilities to be mobile. Number 2, let there be noise. What do we mean by this? Sometimes as parents, we are overcautious about keeping our babies away from noise in a quiet and silent environment. Now, do our babies really want this? Babies have come into this world to freely experience all of the sights, all of the sounds, all of the smells, all the senses, right? And they want to take all of this in so that they can develop their own understanding of the world. What we mean to say is allow your baby exposure to different kinds of sounds, whether it's everyday sounds, nature sounds, or even sounds of language, because that will help them understand language, understand communication, also try and understand what is the world around them. Don't try and shield them with noise and sounds unnecessarily. Of course, what we are not trying to say is to keep them in a very loud environment like a club, nightclub, or a disco or something like that, but allow the natural sounds and communication to get to your baby so that they can start appreciating the sounds in the world. Number 3, your baby wants to talk. We just assume that just because our babies have not developed their vocal cords, they don't want to talk, and that is not the case. They not only want to talk, they are actually capable of communicating as well, even though their vocal cords are not developed. Allow them the chance. What do we mean by this is whenever you are communicating with your baby, don't just talk at your baby, but talk to your baby so that you can also listen to their response, listen to them communicate back to you. Whether it's through their eyes, whether it's through their expressions, with their smiles, with their hands and legs, their limbs moving about. Any of these reactions are completely appropriate responses to the way that you communicate to your baby. But allow them the chance to communicate back to you. That is your baby talking to you. And when you allow that chance, your baby experiences a completely amazing amount of delight at having been understood, at having been given the opportunity to be able to communicate with their parents. Number 4, very, very important, do not show your baby a screen. They don't like that, they don't want that. I know it makes our lives convenient, right? We want to keep our baby distracted, engaged, so that we can focus on our own thing, and we give them a mobile app to play with, an iPad to play with. And that is actually extremely, extremely harmful for your baby's development as well as for your baby's personality and character building. Exposure to screen time will lead to your baby's speech development being impaired, being delayed. It could also lead to personality issues, behavior issues, and most of the child-focused, baby-focused apps are supremely addictive with fast-moving objects across the screen, which just keeps the baby engaged, but it is very, very harmful for their overall growth and development. So please avoid showing a screen to your baby at least till about 3 years of age. Tip number 5. Your baby can hear sounds that you cannot hear. And this is true. Expose your baby to different sounds, different kinds of music, so that they will be able to not only appreciate all of these things, but also be able to train their auditory sense. So they'll be able to develop their sense of hearing and sense of identification of sounds, which will ultimately lead to a better sense in music as well as better sense of creativity as they grow older. And my last tip of the day, tip number 6, take your baby outdoors. We as adults, we as parents, we are so used to being indoors, whether at work, whether at home, and it's just crumpled our lives and our bodies, right? A baby is born into the world, they need that exposure, they need that exposure to nature, to natural surroundings, to trees, to the environment, to fresh air. Take them outside and you will see a noticeable change in how they react indoors as well as outdoors, in how much happiness and joy is there in their personality when they go out and then they come back. So they will get to expend their energy, and that energy will lead to better sleeping, better resting, better development and growth, all of those benefits. So the tip of the day is take your baby outdoors and let them enjoy the natural surroundings and watch them grow and develop into a happy, joyful baby as they grow older. Hope you guys enjoyed our first episode of the Prodigy Show. This is the end of the show. We will continue to bring you lots more information, lots of interviews, tips, tricks, how-tos, many things, everything to do with your baby's growth, development as you embark on your parenting journey. So stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, click below to subscribe, follow us. Please do leave a comment on what you thought about our video, what you would like us to do better, how we can improve. We are here to serve, and we are very, very happy to get your comments and your thoughts. Take care, guys. All the best. Wish you lots of love, lots of luck in your parenting journey, and all the best to your babies as well. God bless.